Hello, everyone. Before we get started with our 4 end time views, I want to mention some important things about the book of Revelation. First, the book of Revelation is apocalyptic genre. That means it has a lot of pictures and a lot of symbols. We want to be careful to not read a secret interpretation into the symbol or our own interpretation into the symbol. Instead, we want to read the meaning out of the text. And I'll give you an example of that. So how are we supposed to find the interpretation? Sometimes it is located further in the verse. Sometimes it's located in a different chapter. And sometimes it's located in the Old Testament. So let's get to our example. Revelation chapter 1, verse 12. I turned to see whose voice it was that spoke to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 gold lampstands. So there's our picture. Lampstands. 7 lampstands. So how do we know what the 7 lampstands mean? We actually have to read further into the chapter to find out. And it's actually located in verse 20. The secret of the 7 stars you saw in my right hand and of the 7 gold lampstands is this. So he's getting ready to tell us what it means. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches. So John just interpreted it for us. It is the 7 churches. At the end of this video, I'll put in the description 4 trustworthy, reliable teachers of different camps to help aid you in your decision. If I don't see you before then, please have a Merry Christmas. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bible Study channel. Today we're going to cover 4 end-time views. Each view is based on how they see the millennial reign. Let's look at our first camp. All millennial. All millennial sees the millennium not as a literal 1,000 years, but a symbolic period. The kingdom of God began at Christ's first appearance and will be consummated at his return. The church can be both Gentile and Jew. However, it still looks for a future redemption of the Jews. It has only one redemptive program. It looks for the future apostasy or corruption of the church. This apostasy results in suffering for the faithful, which is called the tribulation, which leads to the Antichrist. After the tribulation period ends, Christ returns to finish his work. Let's look at a few key factors. First, the millennium is interpreted as a symbolic period. Second, it only has one redemptive program. And third, the kingdom is both present and future. Let's look at our next camp. Premill dispensationalism. Called premill because it placed Christ's return before the millennium. We are currently in the church age. The kingdom is completely future. It has 2 distinct redemptive programs, one for Israel and one for the church. After the church is taken out of the world, it looks for a future for Israel, in which the temple is rebuilt, animal sacrifices are reinstated, and the Jews are converted to Christ. It has a literal 1,000-year reign at the time Christ comes back, and of course victory over Satan. 2 important factors. The kingdom is completely future, and it has 2 distinctive redemptive programs, one for the church and one for Israel. The temple is rebuilt, and animal sacrifices are reinstated. Also, the Jews are converted to Christ. Let's look at our next camp. Historic premill. The New Testament church era is the beginning of God's kingdom. The church wins some missions, but ultimately fails its mission. The church goes into apostasy. There's a worldwide tribulation. After the tribulation, Christ returns to rapture his church. Christ then returns with his saints to the earth to battle Armageddon and bind Satan. Christ establishes his kingdom in Jerusalem. However, Satan is loosed again at the end of the millennium to rebel. However, God intervenes with judgment to rescue the saints. Then we have final judgment and resurrection occurs. Post-mill. Called post-mill because Christ's return is after the millennium. The church is Israel, like all mill. The kingdom of God is a kingdom of spiritual redemption. This is the most optimistic about the church influence on society. It has a literal 1,000 years. Post-mill believes during the millennium we will see an increase in the gospel power and change lives. The world will become more Christianized. After the literal 1,000 years, Jesus returns with final judgment and Christ ushers us into the eternal state. So notice with post-mill, it is more optimistic and the gospel is a big influence on humanity. In the description, I'm going to put 4 different videos covering these topics. Take a look at these videos, and I challenge you, pick what camp you fall into. As always, I hope this has been helpful, and God bless.